Hi, this is registered dietitian Jason Hunter, and today I want to talk to you about natural sugars versus added sugars. This is a very controversial topic. People debate this all the time on, do they act the same in the body? Are natural sugars good for you, or are they just as bad as added sugars? But to start, we need to try to figure out what's a natural sugar and what's an added sugar. So natural sugars are sugars that come from like fruits, vegetables, sugar from dairy like lactose. Those are forms of natural sugar that occur naturally in that food. Added sugars are essentially everything else. The problem with this is there's over 60 names for sugar that you'll see on a food label. And food manufacturers aren't going to come right out and say sugar. They're going to use some of these technical names so that you don't recognize it, don't see it, or don't even know what it means, right? That's part of the problem. So the World Health Organization has come out and said you shouldn't eat more than 25 grams of added sugar a day. That's great, but how do I know what an added sugar is, especially since there's like 60 some names that I have to try to memorize, right? So food labels have now had some new language, new laws adopted to where food companies have to start putting added sugar as a subset under the carbohydrate column. And you're probably not going to be able to see this, but essentially you're going to have your total carbohydrates listed. This is a jar of peanut butter. This one says 8 grams. Then dietary fibers listed, 2 grams. Total sugars out of the 8 grams is 3 grams, but under that total sugars, it now says includes 2 grams of added sugar. They did this to help people try to distinguish between natural sugars and added sugars. But the question still remains, is this helpful? Are people eating less sugar? That's where the debate comes in. So, it's going to help some people, right, that are really eating processed foods, heavily processed, unhealthy foods, and they start reading their labels and they see how much added sugar they're adding. They cut a lot of that out. Their diet's going to be healthier. They're going to start living a little healthier life. It doesn't really help those people that are on what I would call a very carb-heavy diet or carb-heavy meal plan, even though they're eating natural sugars. And let me give you an example. 1 orange contains about 10 to 13 grams of sugar, natural sugars. Now, when you drink orange juice, that's still a natural sugar, but 1 16-ounce glass of orange juice contains essentially the same amount as 4 oranges in the form of sugar. So are you really going to eat 4 oranges in one sitting? And even if you do, you have to digest that food, right? There's fiber in there. There's substance that sugar is not going to absorb as quickly because your body has to digest it first before it can start to utilize that sugar. So you're not going to get the same insulin response or the blood sugar spike as if you drank 1 16-ounce glass of orange juice, or essentially, equal to 4 oranges in regards to that natural sugar. Orange juice, not so healthy. 4 oranges, much healthier, but again, you're not going to probably eat 4 oranges in one sitting. So this is where natural sugars, yes, can be better for you, but in certain situations, when your body's going to metabolize it differently, where it's concentrated, like in the form of an orange juice, for an example, your body's going to probably metabolize that very quickly. You're going to get this big blood sugar spike, insulin response. You're going to store a lot of it as fat. That's not so healthy. So what I teach my clients is not looking at just natural sugars or just added sugars, but look at overall carbohydrate intake. Because in general, most people eat way too many carbohydrates. We don't need a real balanced meal. We don't need a variety of different foods such as lean proteins, vegetables, carbs, and fiber. So to break it down, this is what I give as a general rule or guideline. Try to keep your carb intake, your overall carb intake, so that includes natural sugars as well as added sugars, keep it under 130 grams a day. For men, maybe it's 150. Just because a lot of times they carry more muscle, they have a faster metabolism than females, so their body can metabolize a few more grams of carbohydrates and still have equal response. So let's just say 130 grams per day. 25 to 30 of those grams of carbohydrates should be fiber. You're going to get that from a lot of the carbohydrate sources you choose, as well as fruits and vegetables. So it all gets encompassed, but 25 to 30 grams of that 130 should be coming from fiber. Try to eat some type of lean protein whenever you're eating carbohydrates, because again, this is going to slow down the digestive process. It's going to slow down that blood sugar response so that your body has a chance to utilize those carbs, that sugar, for energy rather than storing it as fat. Vegetables are also an excellent food item that's going to help slow that down, as well as get you that 25 to 30 grams of fiber. So try to always include some type of vegetable and or protein whenever you're eating carbohydrates. Keep those carbohydrates under 130 grams per day. And for most people, you're going to reach your ideal body weight. You're going to reach your ideal body without truly having to diet or suffer or restrict the foods that you like to eat, because a lot of it is that moderation and that balance. If you can balance that out, if you can balance the blood sugar rises, the falls, you're going to be able to achieve that body much easier than severely restricting calories or going completely no carb and then hating it and picking out on some carbs and natural sugars, and your weight balloons back up. So hope you find this helpful and it clears up some of this debate or confusion in regards to natural sugars versus added sugars. Go ahead and tag a friend in the comments below if you like this, especially if you think that they have an opinion to share on this. Maybe it's something that they've done that's worked for them. Or if they are in that same situation of, what do I do? Is it carbs that I don't eat? Is it natural sugars that I should eat? Should I avoid just added sugars? You know, what the heck do I do with this whole sugar debate? So if you think they'll find this as a learning opportunity for them, go ahead and tag them in the comments below. And please leave a question or comment below and let me know what you think of this, as well as maybe what you have done regarding the whole sugar debate and what it's done to help improve your body weight, or you reaching your goals. Thank you.